On the wedding day, dressed in my wedding gown, I was directly pushed out of the wedding car by my groom and left on the highway, simply because his ex-wife, who was 3 months pregnant, got lost at the airport. He said, "She is my responsibility, you are my true love," and then he drove off with the entire convoy to pick up his responsibility. I became the biggest joke. Looking at the number on my phone from the person who said he would crash the wedding, I wiped away my tears, answered the call, and said coldly, "No need to crash it, Leon, if you dare to marry me now, I'll dare to marry you. If he doesn't want me, I'll turn around and marry a man he can only look up to." The cold wind rushed into the car, instantly penetrating my custom wedding dress worth 6 figures. The silk and lace clung to my skin, icy cold. "My name is Anna, and today is my wedding with Ethan." At least, it was a few minutes ago. The wedding convoy stopped on the emergency lane of Haichung's Ring Highway, with the lead car being an extended Rolls-Royce. Ethan had just pushed me out of this car with swift movements, even bordering on roughness. No, it wasn't pushing. He unbuckled his seatbelt, came around to open my door, grabbed my arm, and made me stand outside the car. The force wasn't heavy, but it was firm, leaving no room for negotiation. "Anna, you go ahead and take a taxi to the wedding venue yourself, be good." Ethan stood by the car door, his tie neat, hair impeccably styled, he didn't even look into my eyes. His gaze went over my head, toward the ramp leading to Haichung Airport. His phone was still lit, with Vivian's name on the screen. Vivian, his ex-girlfriend, or rather, ex-wife, they had gotten married legally, but separated without holding a wedding. I heard she went abroad and disappeared for 2 years. Now, she was back. Ethan's voice was steady, as if discussing the weather. "Vivian got lost at the airport, she's in a bad mood, crying on the phone. I have to go pick her up." My mind buzzed, as if hit by a heavy hammer. I looked at him, this man who should be waiting for me in the wedding hall in a few minutes. "Ethan, what did you say? Today is our wedding day. Hundreds of guests are waiting at the hotel. And now, you're going to the airport to pick up your ex-wife?" Every word squeezed out through gritted teeth. I couldn't believe this was real. On the highway, traffic roared by, the wind howling loudly, yet his words smashed clearly into my ears, one by one. Absurd, utterly absurd. He finally lowered his head to look at me, his eyes showing no guilt, but rather a saintly sense of responsibility. "Anna, don't be willful. Vivian is 3 months pregnant, the child is mine. She's returned alone, with no one to turn to, and got lost, I can't ignore her. Pregnant. 3 months. The child is his." I felt all the blood rush to my head, then instantly turn cold, my limbs numb. She left for 2 years, pregnant for 3 months, and the child is his? This logic, this timeline, is Ethan an idiot? No, he just desperately wants to be that responsible good man. Or rather, that place in his heart was never truly vacant. "She and the child are my lifelong responsibility," Ethan emphasized, as if taking an oath. "I'll take care of her until she finds her next home. Anna, you have to understand." Understand? Understand what? Understand that my groom, on our wedding day, threw the bride onto the highway to pick up his pregnant ex-wife? My whole body was shaking, unsure if from cold, anger, or fear. I grabbed his sleeve, the wedding dress skirt fluttering wildly in the wind like an out-of-control white ghost. With a hoarse voice, I asked the most humble and ridiculous question, "What about me? Our wedding? Our future? What am I, Anna, to you, Ethan?" He looked at me, his gaze incredibly firm, even giving the illusion of deep affection, and said, "You are my lifelong true love and future." How touching. Responsibility to her, true love and future to me. He divided responsibility and love so clearly, clear to the point of cruelty. The next second, he brushed off my hand and decisively closed the car door. Bang. The sound wasn't loud, but it shattered all my illusions. The window separated us. I saw him sit back in the driver's seat, his profile stern. The lead car started, and the dozens of luxury cars following formed a long dragon, trailing him without hesitation toward the airport. Not a single car stopped. No one asked me a thing. They were all Ethan's friends and relatives, they only listened to him. I, Anna, in an elaborate and gorgeous wedding dress, my bouquet long lost somewhere, the veil blown by the wind and caught on the roadside barrier like a white flag of surrender. I stood by the road, like a complete fool. Passing cars slowed down, faces peeking out of windows, curious, mocking, sympathetic. A bride in a wedding dress, abandoned on the highway. This must be the biggest joke of the year. Tears wouldn't stop falling, smashing onto the expensive fabric and spreading instantly. I cried, laughing through tears, the mix of tears and laughter sounding ugly even to myself. My chest felt hollowed out, the wind pouring in directly, painful, an empty pain. True love? Future? All bullshit. In his heart, I always ranked behind that responsibility. No, I wasn't even anything, just a sensible, decent ornament that could be discarded at any time. The phone vibrated wildly in my handbag. With shaking hands, I took it out, the screen flashed a name, Leon. This name pricked me like a thorn. Leon, known throughout Haicheng for being unruly and cynical. He was also a mutual friend of mine and Ethan's. He once half-jokingly said at a gathering, "Anna, on your wedding day, if this young master hasn't had enough fun, I might really crash the wedding." At the time, I took it as a joke. Ethan even laughed and said, "If you dare come, I'll break your legs." Now, Ethan had run off himself. I wiped away tears, my fingertips cold, sliding over the answer button. On the other end, the background was noisy, as if at a party, the man's voice carried his usual laziness, with a touch of a grieved tone. "Anna. What do you mean? I just casually said I'd crash the wedding, and you got so scared you really didn't dare come to the ceremony? I've been waiting at the hotel entrance for half a day, the flower children are about to fall asleep, where are the bride and groom? Playing hide and seek?" He obviously didn't know what had happened. He thought I had run away from the wedding. My tears surged again, but my voice was surprisingly calm, like stagnant water, without ripples. The wind, car noises, his voice, all became distant. Looking in the direction where Ethan's convoy disappeared, I said word by word into the phone, "No need to crash it." Leon paused, "Huh?" I took a deep breath, the cold air stinging my lungs, but making me incredibly clear-headed. "Leon, let's get married." The other end of the phone fell instantly silent. All the noisy background sounds disappeared. I guessed he had walked to a quiet place, or perhaps he made the world quiet. I could hear his breathing deepen. After a full 10 seconds, he spoke, all laziness and joking gone from his voice, leaving only disbelief and a solemnity I couldn't quite describe. "Anna, say that again. Where are you?" Haicheng Ring Highway, toward Haicheng Airport, about 3 kilometers past the elevated intersection. I reported my location, my voice so steady it scared me. When the heart dies, the person becomes calm. "In your wedding dress? Alone?" Leon's voice suddenly turned cold, like ice. "Yes." "What about that bastard Ethan?" He gritted his teeth. "He went to the airport to pick up his pregnant ex-wife. He said that's his responsibility." I spoke as if recounting someone else's story, numb yet clear. Every word was a knife, linching my already dead heart all over again. From the other end came the sound of something smashing, crackling. Then Leon's voice, suppressing rage, "Anna, stay where you are, don't move. Send me your location. 5 minutes, no, 3 minutes, I'll be there right away." He hung up. I sent the location as instructed. Standing by the road, I was like a statue. In 3 minutes, Leon really delivered. A black Bugatti, like a silent beast, tore through the highway traffic, screeched to a halt precisely in front of me. The tire's friction with the ground emitted a piercing sound. The door opened, Leon jumped out. Today he was dressed unusually formally, in a pure black custom suit, no tie, shirt collar unbuttoned 2 buttons. It was clear he came in a hurry, yet still exuded nobility. He saw me disheveled in my wedding dress by the road, saw the veil caught on the barrier, saw my tear-streaked face. His expression shifted from shock to anger, finally to a deep, profound heartache. He asked nothing. He strode over, took off his suit jacket, and draped it firmly over me, its warmth from his body covering the cold lace. His movements were gentle, soft. In stark, heart-piercing contrast to Ethan's resolute push out of the car. "Cold?" he asked, voice low. I shook my head, but tears fell again. Not for Ethan, but for this moment, the warmth of this jacket. Leon reached out, his calloused fingertips gently wiping my tears. "Don't cry. Not worth it for that trash." He opened the passenger door. "Get in. I'll take you away." I got in. He went around to the driver's seat, closed the door, shutting out the prying eyes outside. The car started, smoothly merging into traffic. "Where are we going?" I asked, voice dry. Leon stared ahead, his profile hard. "The Civil Affairs Bureau. Today's a good day, suitable for marriage." I turned sharply to look at him. He wasn't joking. "Leon, what I said earlier was just out of anger." I tried to explain, though I didn't know why. Saying "let's get married" in that moment was despair, revenge, breaking the jar since it's already cracked. But he smiled, not his usual cynical smile, very serious. "Anna, I didn't take it as angry words. Crashing the wedding was a joke, but wanting to marry you, that's not." I was stunned. "Ethan doesn't want you, I do. He's blind, but I'm not." Leon's tone was light, yet each word heavy. "If you dare marry, I'll dare marry you. The Lee family's doors are always open for you. As for Ethan, what he owes you, I'll make him pay back tenfold, 100-fold." The car was quiet. I looked at him. We'd known each other for years. I always thought he was an immature, playful rich kid. Only now did I see the seriousness in his eyes was real. "Marry Leon? The best way to revenge Ethan isn't to immediately marry a man 100 times better than him? Let him know that I, Anna, am not indispensable to him, not garbage he can discard at will. Turn his lifelong true love into a complete joke." My heart was bleeding, but a strange thrill of revenge rose. "Okay. To the Civil Affairs Bureau," I heard myself say. Leon glanced at me, a light flashing in his eyes. "Hold on." The Bugatti accelerated, rushing toward the city. At the wedding hotel, it must be chaos now. Ethan's parents, my parents, all relatives and friends couldn't contact us. Leon made a call, voice ice cold. "Notify the Gu and families, the wedding is cancelled. The bride Anna is with me now. If anyone has objections, let them come find me, Leon, directly." He hung up, as if it was a trivial matter. I knew the weight of those words. The Lee family in Haicheng was something the Gu family had to look up to. His words were both notification and warning. Civil Affairs Bureau. Being a good day, it was crowded. Leon obviously had arrangements. We took a special channel. I in my wedding dress, draped in his suit jacket, he in black, standing together like a bizarre yet harmonious picture. Photos, signatures, stamps. The staff looked at us with complex expressions but dared not ask anything. When those 2 red booklets were handed to us, I still felt unreal. I, Anna, abandoned by the groom on the wedding day, then got certified with another man. Flash marriage. Leon took the marriage certificate, carefully putting it in his suit inner pocket, close to his heart. He held my hand, his was large, warm. "Mrs. Leon, from now on, no one can bully you anymore." My phone rang wildly again. It was Ethan. He probably picked up Vivian, then got the hotel's call, and finally remembered me. Leon took my phone, answered directly, on speaker. Ethan's anxious and angry voice came. "Anna. Are you crazy? You're with Leon? Do you know what day it is? You dare run away from the wedding? Where do I put my face? Where do the 2 families put their faces?" Vivian just got emotional and almost fainted. "I finally settled her, and now you're causing trouble." Come back to the hotel immediately, explain to me, to everyone. He was still blaming me. He thought I was causing trouble, making him lose face. He even kept mentioning Vivian. I laughed in anger, no tears left. Leon sneered, speaking slowly into the phone. Ethan, listen carefully. Anna didn't run away, she just switched grooms. We just came from the Civil Affairs Bureau, certified. She's now Leon's, legal wife. As for your wedding, explain to whoever you want, or marry your responsibility. And don't harass my wife again, or I can't guarantee if the GU group can see tomorrow's sun in Haicheng. The other end was dead silent. I could imagine Ethan's expression, shocked, stunned, incredulous. Leon. You fucking. Anna, speak. You can't do this to me. Ethan's voice became frantic, even with a hint of fear. Leon hung up directly, turned off the phone. The world quieted. He looked at me. Let's go, Mrs. Leon, home. Home. The word dazed me. A few hours ago, I thought my home was with Ethan. Now, everything had changed. This wasn't the wedding I wanted, but perhaps it was the harshest slap I could give Ethan. You discarded me like worn shoes. I turned and married into a prestigious family you couldn't reach. Ethan, your true love and future don't want you anymore. Leon took me back to his top-floor apartment by the Huangpu River. The view was excellent, the entire Bund nightscape in sight. But I had no heart to appreciate it. He had the aunt help me change out of the wedding dress, prepared comfortable clothes and dinner. Throughout, he was gentlemanly, keeping distance, without the slightest overstep. Anna, I know your heart is in turmoil now. This marriage, for you, might just be impulsive, revenge. Leon sat on the opposite sofa, pouring me a cup of warm water. Rest assured, I won't force you to do anything. You can treat this as your safe haven. Whenever you think clearly and want to leave, I'll sign the divorce anytime. But as long as you're Mrs. Leon for a day, I'll protect you. He saw clearly. I took the cup, hand still shaking. Leon, thank you. But I don't plan to divorce. He raised an eyebrow. Ethan made me a joke, I can't let him off easy. The identity of Mrs. Leon is pretty good. I took a sip, the temperature was just right. It's wronging you. Leon smiled, not wronged. Couldn't ask for more. His eyes were bright, like the starlight outside. When Ethan couldn't reach me, he started bombarding Leon's phone. Leon tossed it on the coffee table, letting it ring. Not answering? I asked. Let him panic. The more panicked, the more he cares. Didn't he think you were someone he could manipulate at will? Then let him taste the flavor of loss. Leon's tone was calm, yet carried ruthlessness. The GU and families exploded too. My parents called, I briefly explained, just said Ethan regretted the marriage, I married Leon. They were shocked, worried, but hearing it was the Lee family, didn't dare say much, just told me to take care. Ethan's parents were directly suppressed by the Lee family. The wedding became a farce. Ethan became the laughingstock who abandoned the bride, only to be cuckolded by her in turn, from outsiders' view. The next day, Ethan finally found here. He was stopped downstairs. Leon got the security call, asked me, see him? Yes. I must see. Some words must be said clearly. We met Ethan in the downstairs reception room. He hadn't slept all night, eyes bloodshot, stubble on chin, suit wrinkled, completely without yesterday's spirit. Seeing me, his eyes lit up, he rushed over wanting to grab my hand. Anna. Come back with me. Stop messing around. I know I was wrong yesterday, I apologize. But you can't marry Leon, this is revenge on me, you don't love him at all. Leon stepped in front, blocking Ethan's hand, eyes cold. Mr. Ethan, please respect my wife. Wife. These two words stung Ethan. Like a cat with its tail stepped on, he jumped up pointing at Leon. Leon. Don't get cocky. This is taking advantage. Anna is mine. Yours? I stepped out from behind Leon, calmly looking at Ethan. Ethan, yesterday on the highway, when you pushed me out, I was no longer yours. You said Vivian and the child are your responsibility. I am your true love and future. Sorry, your true love doesn't accept this ranking. Your future doesn't want any relation with you anymore. Ethan's face instantly paled. Anna, I explained. Vivian's situation is special. She's pregnant, emotionally unstable. I just went to comfort her. I took her to the hospital for checkup, ensured she's fine, then planned to rush back to the wedding. It's you, you're too impulsive, you wouldn't even give me that time. Can't you understand me? He still thought the fault was mine. That I didn't understand him, that I was impulsive. He even took Vivian to the hospital for a checkup. I laughed out loud, laughing until tears came. Understand? Ethan, did you forget that day was our wedding? You threw the bride on the road, went to care for your ex-wife, even had her do a prenatal check? Then blamed the bride for not understanding? Is there something wrong with your brain? That child is mine. I must be responsible. Ethan roared, like a trapped beast. The more he emphasized responsibility, the more ridiculous I found it. Vivian's call came to Ethan's phone at that moment. He glanced, subconsciously wanted to hang up, but hesitated and answered. Perhaps afraid she'd have another issue. He walked aside, lowering his voice. Hello, Vivian, what's wrong? Didn't I tell you to rest well at the hotel? I have something to handle, back soon. Don't cry, bad for the child. Okay, I'll order food for you. Gentle, patient, attentive. These, he didn't give me yesterday. He hung up, turned back, facing me with an anxious guilty expression. Anna, Vivian's alone at the hotel, she has some prenatal depression. I have to go check on her. Our matter, another day, calm down first, handle the procedures with Leon, I'll wait for you. He finished, actually turned to leave. He was going to care for his responsibility. Looking at his back, I completely gave up. This person was beyond saving. Ethan. I called him. He turned back. Between us, it's over. Completely over. You guard your responsibility well and live your life. Also, friendly reminder, I looked into his eyes. Vivian left you for 2 years, pregnant 3 months, this child, are you sure it's yours? Don't bear the responsibility, only to find out it's a huge cuckold. Ethan's body stiffened suddenly. He wasn't without thinking it, but he dared not, or rather, Vivian's tears and weakness made him automatically ignore the possibility. He needed the moral halo of responsibility to satisfy his narcissism. His face alternated green and white, extremely ugly. Leon put his arm around my shoulders, voice cold. Ethan, get out. Don't dirty my home. Better check your responsibility clearly. Don't end up losing person and wealth, becoming Haiching's joke. Oh, wait, you already are. Ethan stared at us fiercely, eyes full of bloodshot, venom, unwillingness, and a hint of panic after I pointed out the truth. He said nothing, turned disheveled, and ran. He was going to confirm if his responsibility was indeed a joke. I leaned on Leon, strength drained from my body. Cry if you want. Leon said softly. No more crying. Not worth it. I looked up at him. Leon, help me with something. You say. Help me check whose child Vivian's is. I want Ethan to lose clearly, let him see with his own eyes what he gave me up for. I want to shatter Ethan's responsibility and true love entirely. Leon stroked my hair. Okay. Leave it to me. My wife can't suffer grievances in vain. The curtain of revenge has just opened. Leon's efficiency was faster than Ethan's rush to the airport. In less than 24 hours, a detailed file on Vivian was in front of me. For the Lee family to investigate someone was too easy. The file was thick, recording all of Vivian's tracks abroad these 2 years. She wasn't studying abroad at all. After going abroad, she quickly hooked up with a local Chinese tycoon, living a life of luxury. In photos, she snuggled in that middle-aged man's arms, laughing wildly, completely different from her weak, helpless act in front of Ethan. And that child wasn't Ethan's at all. The file had her prenatal records with that tycoon at a foreign hospital. Times, names, all matched. She was 3 months pregnant, correct. But it was after the tycoon discovered her affairs with others, kicked her out, cut off funds, that she thought of Ethan as a spare tire. She calculated Ethan's soft-hearted, self-proclaimed responsible nature. She knew even more that Ethan was getting married. She came back not for love of Ethan, not for the child, she came to find a ready-made patsy, and incidentally ruin Ethan's wedding to satisfy her vicious selfishness. She even inquired about our wedding date and venue from domestic friends before returning. Lost at the airport? Bad mood? All acting. Every step was in her calculations. And Ethan, this self-smart fool, step by step, willingly jumped into this clumsy trap. For such a woman, for a child not his so-called responsibility, he left his bride on the highway. Looking at those photos, records, no anger, only disgust. Disgust at Vivian's shamelessness, more at Ethan's stupidity and blindness. My love, expectations, years of feelings, all fed to such a thing. Done? Leon sat beside me, took the file from my hand. Done. More exciting than I imagined. I sneered. Ethan probably found some too. But definitely not as detailed as mine. Leon said. I reminded Ethan, with his personality, poked in the sore spot, he'd definitely check. But his ability, what he finds is probably superficial, or Vivian makes up a reason and fools him again. Now, what do you plan? Leon asked. His stance clear, he was my knife, but how to use it, up to me. What does Ethan value most? I asked. Face, his ridiculous self-esteem, and the goo group. Then let him keep none. I looked out the window, eyes cold. Doesn't he love acting the responsible good man? Wouldn't he give up everything for his responsibility? I want everyone to see how dirty, how ridiculous this responsibility is. I want the moral arch he built himself to collapse completely, smashing him dead. Appreciation flashed in Leon's eyes. Good idea. What do you need? Help me invite Ethan's parents, and some key shareholders of the goo group. Location, the hotel where Ethan settled Vivian, top-floor restaurant. Time, tomorrow noon. You want to expose publicly? No, I want to give him an unforgettable surprise. I picked up the file. Isn't Vivian's birthday soon? The file showed 3 days later was Vivian's birthday. Leon instantly understood, smiled. Anna, you're ruthless. But I like it. Ethan was overwhelmed these days. On one hand, the wedding farce made him and the Goo family lose face, some partners watching. On the other, my words like a thorn in his heart. He secretly checked, but Vivian was alert, crying, saying he didn't trust her, even threatening suicide, saying she'd disappear with the child. Ethan's heart softened again. He dared not dig deep, afraid to face the unacceptable truth. He'd rather deceive himself. He still tried contacting me, messaging apologies, repentance, saying he loved me, don't sulk. I replied to none. Vivian was smug. She thought she had Ethan hooked. She even started acting as Mrs. Goo, hinting Ethan give her status, a home for the child. To appease her, Ethan promised a birthday banquet on her birthday, formally introducing her to family and friends. Location, that hotel's top-floor restaurant. Everything in my plan. On the birthday banquet day. The hotel top-floor restaurant was decorated warmly romantic. Ethan booked the whole place. He invited his parents, some core relatives, key business partners, and of course, Leon. He wanted to prove to Leon he was a man of responsibility. He even sent me an invitation. He thought seeing his responsibility to Vivian would move me, make me understand, change my mind. He was hopelessly stupid. Leon and I attended in full dress. I wore a red long gown, like a flame. When we appeared at the restaurant door, everyone quieted. Ethan saw me, eyes instantly bright. He thought I came to reconcile. He came over. Anna, you came. I knew it. Leon held my waist, interrupting, Mr. Ethan, my wife and I are here to celebrate Miss Vivian's birthday. After all, it's her who made us possible. Ethan's face instantly stiffened. Vivian in a white dress, slightly bulging belly, happily leaning on Ethan, seeing me, a flash of smugness and provocation in her eyes. Sister Anna, you came. Thank you and Leon for coming. Ethan and I are very happy. She said weakly, declaring sovereignty. You're welcome. How could I miss such an important day? I smiled, walking to the main table. Ethan's parents' faces were ashen. They were dissatisfied with Vivian, but for the child's sake, endured. The banquet started. Ethan forced a smile, thanked everyone for coming, then looked affectionately at Vivian. Today is Vivian's birthday. Also, I want to announce something. Vivian and I separated, but now we have a child. This is my responsibility. I'll care for her and the child for life. He took out a ring. He wanted to give Vivian a promise today. How touching. Vivian excitedly covered her mouth, teary-eyed. Just as Ethan prepared to put the ring on Vivian, I clapped. The restaurant's big screen suddenly lit. What appeared wasn't warm birthday wishes, but Vivian abroad, intimate photos with that middle-aged tycoon, one after another, shockingly explicit. Then, her prenatal report at a foreign hospital, clearly stating due date and the tycoon's name. Finally, a video. That tycoon, found abroad by Leon's people, he faced the camera disdainfully. Vivian? That woman is a gold digger, trying to trap me with a child? Pity, she's too stupid, that child isn't mine at all. Earliest time, I had a vasectomy long ago. Oh wait, seems the time doesn't match, whatever, I don't want her, who she finds to take over is her business. Leon corrected, correction, the tycoon's exact words, that child? Time doesn't match at all, she was stringing several along, who knows whose seed, anyway not mine. Want to extort me? Tell her to fuck off. The whole room, dead silent. All eyes focused on the big screen, then turned to pale-faced Vivian and completely petrified Ethan. The ring in Ethan's hand clanged to the ground. His responsibility, shattered. The ring rolled on the carpet, soundless, yet like thunder exploding in everyone's heart. The screen continued looping, Vivian's debauchery, the tycoon's disdain, like countless slaps fiercely on Ethan's face. Slap slap. No. Not real. This is fake. Slander. Vivian reacted first, screaming, rushing like a madwoman to the screen, wanting to turn it off. Anna. It's you. You bitch harmed me. She pounced at me. Leon's eyes chilled, a light push, Vivian fell sitting on the ground, disheveled. Miss Vivian, mind your pregnancy. Though I don't know whose child, it's still a life. Leon's voice, bone-chilling cold. Ethan, like soul drawn out, stood dazed, looking at the screen, then at Vivian throwing a tantrum on the ground. His face from white to red to green, finally ashen. Responsibility? The one he obsessed over, abandoning the bride to uphold, turned out a complete scam. He, Ethan, became a huge fool, a self-amorous patsy. Ethan. Ethan. Believe me. It's Anna harming me. She's jealous. She synthesized these photos to frame me. Vivian cried, crawling to Ethan, hugging his leg. Ethan's father, Goo Group's chairman, shook with anger, grabbed a cup from the table, smashed it hard on the ground. Bastard. Disgraceful thing. He pointed at Ethan's nose, cursing, this is your so-called responsibility? This is the woman you cancelled the wedding for, making our Goo family hijinks laughingstock? What's in your brain? Played by a woman. You've lost all Goo family's face. Several shareholders couldn't sit still, faces ugly. Ethan, you need to explain this. Wedding a farce, now this scandal, company image severely damaged, stock price will plummet tomorrow. In your state, how to manage the company? When the wall falls, everyone pushes. Ethan betrayed by all. He slowly lowered his head, looking at Vivian crying, hugging his leg. That face he once pitied immensely, now only hypocrisy and disgust. He remembered the wedding day, righteously telling Anna, "She and the child are my lifelong responsibility." He remembered saying, "You are my lifelong true love and future." He himself pushed away his true love and future to embrace a lie. He suddenly lifted his foot, kicked Vivian away hard. "Get out! You liar! Get out!" His eyes blood red, like a beast cornered. Vivian kicked into the table corner, looked at Ethan incredulously. "Ethan! You dare hit me? I'm carrying your child." "My child?" Ethan laughed miserably, uglier than crying, pointing at the screen. "Tell me, whose child is this?" "Vivian, you deceived me so badly. Treated me like a fool." He collapsed. His proud morality, responsibility, everything, crumbled in this moment. I stood there, watching coldly. No pleasure, only a fatigue of dust settling. This is what he wanted. Ethan suddenly looked at me, eyes full of pain, regret, plea. Anna, I was wrong, really wrong. I'm a fool, a bastard. Forgive me, let's start over, okay? I love only you." He walked toward me. Now he knows wrong? Now he says he loves me? Late. Too late. Leon blocked in front, like a wall. "Ethan, you have no right to call her name now." "Leon. Get out." Ethan, like mad, tried to push Leon away. Leon countered, grabbed his wrist, one force. Ethan bent in pain. "You can't even figure out your own woman and child, and want to fight me? Ethan, you're not just stupid, but incompetent. Call the police. Arrest this woman. Fraud." Ethan's father roared. The scene chaotic. Vivian saw the tide turn, couldn't rely on Ethan, might face lawsuit. She scrambled to escape, stopped by hotel security. Like a dead fish, she slumped on the ground, completely done. Ethan looked at all this, angry father, disdainful shareholders, disheveled Vivian, and indifferent me. He finally understood what he lost. For a false responsibility, he lost someone who truly loved him, lost reputation, family trust, even possibly the company. He knelt on the ground, holding his head, letting out desperate roars. The moral arch he built himself shattered completely, rubble smashing down, mangling him bloody. I turned, unwilling to watch this farce anymore. "Let's go," I said to Leon. Leon nodded, held me, walked out. No one stopped us. Ethan's cries, Vivian's curses, his father's roars, all left behind. Out of the hotel, sunlight somewhat glaring. I took a deep breath, the air fresh. The stone on my chest finally lifted. This isn't the end, it's just the start of Ethan's deserved retribution. Leon wouldn't miss the chance to strike the Goo Group. Ethan's stupidity gave him the best excuse. Business strikes, legal pursuits, reputation ruin, these would flood like tides, drowning Ethan completely. Satisfying? Very. Seeing his built world collapse, seeing him pay for his stupidity and arrogance, every pore screaming satisfaction. I made him lose clearly, thoroughly. That birthday party became the scene of Ethan and Vivian's trial. Vivian was taken away by the police and charged with fraud. A test revealed that the child she was carrying had nothing to do with Ethan, but was the child of a man whose name she couldn't even remember. Her life was completely ruined. Ethan became Haiching's biggest laughingstock. A fool who abandoned the bride to take over ex-wife, only to find the child not his. Goo Group's stock plummeted. Shareholders rebelled. Ethan's father in fury dismissed all his positions, kicked him out, cut off finances. Leon seized the chance, acquired some loose shares cheaply, allied with other shareholders, restructured Goo. Ethan, from favored son, overnight became nothing. Reputation, money, status, family, love, all lost. I no longer followed his news. Life with Leon was peaceful. He still respected me, gave space, but cared meticulously. He'd take me for good food, watch movies, when insomniac, tell childhood embarrassments through the door. I slowly discovered this outwardly unruly Leon was actually gentle, delicate inside. He avenged me ruthlessly, but before me, always the one on the highway draping his jacket, saying, "Don't fear, I'm here." The icy heart seemed to have a trace of warming. This flash marriage, starting impure, but the result not so bad. 3 months later. A rainy day. I left the company, heading to parking to find Leon. He came daily to pick me up. Downstairs, I saw a familiar yet strange figure. Ethan. Much thinner, in cheap jacket, messy hair, turbid eyes, like a vagrant. He stood in rain, soaked, seeing me, eyes burst with desperate light. He rushed, stopped by building security. "Anna! Anna! I beg you! See me!" he hoarsely shouted. I stopped. Security looked at me, I nodded, signal to let him. Ethan stumbled over, rain flowing down his hair, utterly disheveled. "Anna." He looked at me, tears mixing with rain. I was wrong. I deserved death. Now I have nothing, company gone, home gone, everyone looks down on me. I can't live anymore. He plopped kneeling in rainwater. "I know, I let you down. I was blind, a bastard. Lard covered my heart. Treated Pearl as fish eye. Vivian is my retribution, my everything now is deserved." He cried like a child, repenting, despairing. "But Anna, I really love you. You said you are my lifelong true love and future." Those words, I meant them then. I was just too stupid, couldn't distinguish responsibility from love. Now I understand, all of it. Without you, I'm nothing. Forgive me, okay? We don't seek the past, have Leon spare me, give me a way to live. Or, look at me once more, like before, and I'll be content. He begged, like a stray dog. He finally, thoroughly, soberly realized what he lost. This was his cruelest punishment. I looked at him, this man I once loved, planned to entrust my life to. In my heart, no hate, no revenge thrill, even little sympathy. Only a stranger-like indifference. Complete apathy. Love and hate both need energy. And he was no longer worth any energy or emotion from me. "Ethan." I spoke calmly, voice through the rain, "My love died the moment you pushed me out of the wedding car, closed the door. Died on the highway, crushed by passing wheels, not a scrap left." His body trembled, looked up at me, face full of despair. "Your lifelong true love and future don't want you anymore. Your everything now is your own choice. Unrelated to me." I had not a ripple. The greatest revenge isn't hate, but forgetting, thorough indifference. Then, a black car stopped by the road. Door opened, Leon with a black umbrella strode over. Seeing Ethan kneeling, he frowned, eyes instantly cold. He came to my side, used the umbrella to shield me from rain, pulled me into his arms, the jacket's warmth instantly dispelled the rainy chill. He didn't glance at Ethan, as if the kneeling one was just trash. He lowered his head asking me, voice gentle enough to drip water, "What's wrong?" Waited anxiously. "It's cold outside, let's get in the car quick, go home for dinner." Home. Go home for dinner. Such warm words. I looked up at Leon, the concern and love in his eyes so real, so warm. I suddenly smiled. A genuine smile. I took his hand initiatively, fingers interlocked. "No rush. Let's go home." This wasn't a revenge marriage, it was my rebirth. I turned, last look at Ethan. He knelt in rain, like a statue, eyes vacant looking at my and Leon's interlocked hands, our smiling tacit understanding. What he lost was me. What I got was someone who truly cherished and protected me, and a brand new future. I ignored Ethan anymore, got in the car with Leon. The car started, splashing water, soaking Ethan. From the rear view, I saw him still kneeling, figure in rain curtain smaller, blurrier. I withdrew my gaze, no looking back. Ethan, the one who pushed me out, would finally be left far, thoroughly behind by me. Leon gripped my hand tight, thinking what? I leaned on his shoulder, thinking today is a good day. Yes, a good day. Bury the past, welcome rebirth. Outside the window, rain stopped, on the horizon, faintly a rainbow appeared,